Welcome to another video tutorial from Between CAD Classes. Today we're in AutoCAD and we are going to create the 3D mechanical part that you see here. Before we get started, let's take a look at our workflow. We're basically going to get this done in 3 features. We're going to start by creating the base feature that includes the holes. Then we will create the raised feature that includes the hole there. Then finally we will add the extrusion for the raised feature on the base. Let's take a look at the detailed drawing so we can get some information about this base feature. We can see that it is 200 millimeters wide by 128 millimeters deep, and it has chamfers of 38 millimeters on the front 2 corners. So back in AutoCAD, I am just simply going to create a rectangle. I'll pick a start point and I'm going to put in at 200, 128. to create that base rectangular shape. Next, I'm going to add in those 38 millimeter chamfers. So here in the Modify panel, I'll select the drop down and choose Chamfer. Select distance in my command line, put in 38 and enter again to accept 38 for the second chamfer distance. Then I'll go ahead and chamfer one of these corners, press the space bar to repeat, then chamfer the opposite corner. Next, I want to sketch the holes. So switching back to the detailed drawing, I can see that we have 2 holes with a diameter of 52. These holes are 54 millimeters from the front of the part, and they're 46 millimeters in from each side. Back in AutoCAD, eventually I want this to be a joined shape so that I can extrude it more easily, but I'm going to explode it so that I can do some offsetting to find those shapes. I will type X and enter at my keyboard, then select the object and enter to explode it. Then I will use my offset command. So I'll start with offset and then the value of 54 and enter to offset this line back 54. Then I will restart the offset command and put in a distance of 46 so that it can offset each side in 46. That gives me my 2 center points. Next, I will click the drop down next to the circle and choose center diameter. Click one of the intersections and enter the diameter of 52. Then I will place the same circle over here on the other intersection and press enter to accept the recently used value of 52. Finally, I'll go ahead and erase those construction lines. I'm going to select my home button to switch to a 3D view. And in fact, to match my detailed drawing, I'm going to change the direction of this. So I'm going to click the opposite corner here on the top surface of the view cube. Then I'm going to right click on my house and tell it that I would like to set the current view as home. At this point I have 2 choices. I could use the extrude command, in which case I would need to go ahead and join these lines back together, and then I will have to subtract these holes. Or I can get this done a little more quickly with the press pull command. I'll choose press pull, then just like if I'm hatching, I'm going to click in this region inside here and it should pick up those 2 internal islands. Then I can simply enter in my thickness. So taking a look at the detailed drawing, we can see that that bottom feature is 32 millimeters thick. So back in AutoCAD, I'll just simply put in 32 and enter, and I've gotten my first shape here. I'm going to change my view to shaded with edges. One of the things about using press pull is that it leaves your sketch geometry behind. So I'm going to select this shape and I'm just going to click and drag it out of the way here. And you can see it left these lines behind. So I'm going to go ahead and select those and delete them. Next, I'm going to create that shape on the back. So I'm going to rotate around until I can see it. And then I'm going to use my 3-point UCS to put my user coordinate system on that back surface. I'm also going to make sure that dynamic UCS is turned off. I don't want to accidentally grab another surface. So I'll choose my 3-point UCS, and it'll take 3 clicks. The first click is the new origin point. The second click is my X direction, so I'll click a point along that bottom edge. My last point is my new Y direction, so I'll click the point up above the original point. Now I can see that my XY plane is on that surface. If I turn my grid on, I get a little bit of a better view of the fact that I'm on that surface. Next, I'll go ahead and draw in my raised shape. So taking a look at the detailed drawing, we can see that it has a center of 108 millimeters up from the middle of the base. Then it has a hole with a diameter of 80 and a circle or an arc with a radius of 76 there as well, and then a couple of tangent lines. So back here in AutoCAD, I will go ahead and just draw in this first edge for the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and turn my grid off too to make it a little easier to see in here. I'm going to create a construction line from the midpoint of this line straight up 108. And that will be where my arc and my circle are placed. So I will then choose my center diameter circle for the hole. And I'll put in the diameter of 80. Then for the arc shape, I'm going to start by drawing a circle and I will trim it out. So I'll choose my center radius, pick the same center point there, and enter in my radius value of 76. Then I'll draw in some tangent lines. So I'll do a line from the end point here. I'm going to shift right click and then choose the tangent constraint. Then I will do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'll start my line, start at the end point, shift right click, tangent, and select the circle to create the tangency there. Then I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I'll get rid of my construction line here by deleting it. Then I will trim out the bottom part of that circle. So I'll choose my trim command and click the bottom portion of that. So once again, I have a choice here. I could do the extrude command, in which case I need to do some joining and subtracting, or I can try the press pull command. I'll select my press pull command, and I'm having some difficulty getting it to select both shapes. I find that sometimes press pull works better when I'm in wireframe view. So I'm going to change my view style to 2D wireframe. Then I will try press pull again. And as you can see, it was a lot more successful this time. So I'll select the shape there so that it grabs the internal island as well. Taking a look at the detail drawing, this feature is 26 millimeters deep. So back in AutoCAD, 26 millimeters will be coming out, so I want to put in a negative 26 millimeters. And I know that by looking at my UCS icon. Then I'll go ahead and switch this back to shaded with edges so that I can get a better look at it. Finally, I just want to create this raised extrusion here. So several different ways I can do this one. I am going to start by changing my UCS. So once again, I'll use the 3-point UCS, and I'll click maybe this point up here as my origin. And then straight along the front edge as my X direction, and then I'll go 90 degrees from there to get my Y direction. So now, once again, if I turn the grid on, I can see that I'm sketching right on top of that shape. Let's take a look at our detailed drawing, and we can see that this feature is 36 millimeters wide, and it's centered on the part, and it is 10 millimeters tall. So back in AutoCAD, I'm going to start by just drawing a line across the midpoints here. Then I'm going to offset it half that distance. So I'll choose offset, 18, and enter, and I will offset it to the right and to the left. Then I'll erase that construction line. Note that I didn't draw a line to the back and the front. If I wanted to use the extrude command, I would need lines, but with the press pull command, I can select the command and select inside this region here. We can see that the Z direction on the UCS is positive going up, so I can type 10 and enter to get that last feature. Now if I select these, this is all one shape because I press pulled a surface on it, but this is still a separate shape. So I want to use my union command to put those together. Here in the solid editing panel, I will choose the first command here, union, select my shapes and press enter, and that gives me my one selectable final part. As always, that was just one of many possible workflows. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe, as I will be continuing to post more tutorials using AutoCAD. Thank you for watching.